Welcome back to Gearloom, the place where machines aren't just reviewed, they're immortalized. Today, we're standing at the edge of a revolution. A car that dares to ask a question no American machine has ever asked so boldly: can Detroit dethrone Bugatti, Ferrari, and the hypercar royalty of Europe? The answer arrives wrapped in carbon fiber, draped in aerodynamics, and armed with 1,000 horses of fury. The 2026 Chevrolet Corvette Zora. This isn't just the next Corvette. This is the pinnacle, the crown jewel of decades of obsession. The dream of Zora Arkus-Duntov, the father of the Corvette, finally brought to life. A machine that takes the heritage of American muscle and fuses it with futuristic hybrid technology to create something the world never expected from Chevrolet. Picture this: headlights slicing through darkness like laser blades. Exhaust spitting fire against the night. Wind tunnels bending to its will. Racetracks bowing to its presence. The Zora is here. And it doesn't just aim to play in Europe's arena, it's here to shake the very foundations of what a hypercar should be. So buckle up, because today, we're not just reviewing a car. We're witnessing the beginning of an American legend. The first thing that hits you about the 2026 Corvette Zora isn't the numbers. It isn't even the badge. It's the shape. One look, and you know this isn't just a Corvette anymore. It's a predator sculpted by the wind itself. At the front, a low, aggressive nose slices through the air. Slim LED matrix headlights stretch deep into the fenders, sharp as blades, giving the car a futuristic stare. Beneath them, an active carbon fiber splitter deploys at speed, pulling the Zora into the pavement for maximum grip. The hood? Ventilated, lightweight, forged from carbon, channeling hot air from the hybrid V8 like a breathing machine. Every vent, every crease, it's all function. No wasted drama. From the side, the Zora screams mid-engine purity. A cab-forward stance. A roofline so low it looks carved by stealth engineers. Behind the doors, massive intakes gulp air, feeding both turbos and the dual-motor hybrid system. Carbon fiber side skirts hug the body, taming turbulence while visually slamming the car into the asphalt. Then there are the wheels, 20 inches up front, 21 in the rear, massive forged alloys wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Behind them, carbon ceramic brakes peek through, ready to bleed off triple-digit speeds in an instant. At the rear, the Zora makes its boldest statement. A wide, planted stance with a fully active wing, shifting its angle for cornering downforce or drag-reducing speed. Quad titanium exhausts sit high in the bumper, spitting out a soundtrack equal parts V8 thunder and electric whine. Below, a massive functional diffuser channels air with surgical precision. The tail lights? Razor-thin, sharp, entirely LED, sealing the car's futuristic presence. This isn't designed for design's sake. This is motorsport DNA, weaponized for the road. Step inside the Zora, and the world outside disappears. This isn't a cabin, it's a command center. A cockpit carved for speed, but wrapped in luxury so refined it rivals Europe's best. The driver sits low, almost lying down, surrounded by a squared-off steering wheel with haptic feedback pads, shift lights glowing across the rim like a fighter jet preparing for launch. Behind it, a fully digital 12.8-inch display reconfigures itself depending on mode, track, sport, or touring, projecting data with razor-sharp clarity. A head-up display floats crucial metrics directly on the windshield, so your eyes never leave the horizon. At the center, an angled 11.6-inch infotainment screen runs GM's latest system with Google built in. It's fast, intuitive, wireless. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Both standard, both wireless. And then there's sound. Not just any sound, but a 16-speaker Bose Performance Series system engineered to fill the cabin with studio-level clarity. Or, if you choose, a stealthier lightweight setup tuned for track days. Storage hasn't been forgotten either. With both a front trunk and a usable rear compartment, the Zora proves supercar thrills don't have to kill daily practicality. Ferrari and McLaren may beat it in brand prestige, but in cabin usability, Corvette strikes back hard. Inside the Zora, you don't just drive. You command. Now, let's lift the veil on what makes the Zora a true game-changer. At its heart sits a twin-turbocharged 5.5-liter flat-plane crank V8, the same DNA that powers the C8. Our race car, but now electrified. Corvette engineers have paired it with dual front-axle electric motors, creating a combined output that clears the 1,000 horsepower mark. That's Bugatti territory, and yet, it comes wrapped in a price tag that doesn't feel like science fiction. The numbers alone are staggering. 0 to 60. Under 2.5 seconds. Quarter mile. Just a whisper above 9. Torque vectoring from the front motor's claws at the asphalt, giving the Zora an all-wheel drive launch that feels almost violent, yet controlled. Where the Z06 was a scalpel, the Zora is a rocket with wings. And wings matter. The active aero system isn't just for show. A retractable rear wing, adjustable front splitters, and underbody diffusers constantly adapt to speed, steering angle, and braking load. At full attack, the Zora generates over 1,500 pounds of downforce, pinning it to the tarmac like a prototype racer. The gearbox? A lightning-fast dual-clutch 8-speed that shifts so sharp you almost hear the air tear between gears. Braking is equally ferocious, carbon ceramic discs clamped by massive 6-piston calipers up front, engineered to take lap after lap without fade. But here's where Corvette really flexes. While Ferrari's SF90 and McLaren's Artura use hybridization mainly for emissions and performance bursts, the Zora integrates its system with raw American muscle. The result is balance, instant electric torque at low revs, thunderous V8 crescendo at the top end. It feels less like technology, more like destiny. And yet, it isn't flawless. Purists may argue the hybridization dilutes Corvette's analog soul. The weight of batteries adds mass, and while engineers have worked miracles with carbon and aluminum, the Zora will never be as featherlight as a McLaren 750S. But what you gain is relentless, repeatable performance. A car that doesn't just hit the numbers once, but does it again and again, without breaking a sweat. This is no longer just an American supercar. This is America's hypercar. Power is one thing. Control is another. And this is where the Zora shows it's not just brute force, it's precision sculpted into motion. The suspension setup reads like a love letter to both racers and commuters. Magnetic Ride Control 5.0, adaptive dampers that read the road 1,000 times per second, transform the car's character with a single flick. In tour mode, the Zora glides with a calm that almost betrays its savage power. Bumps are absorbed, road noise is hushed, and you could almost forget you're sitting on 1,000 horses. Almost. Switch to sport or track, and the transformation is violent. The dampers stiffen, the steering weights up, and torque vectoring from those front electric motors snaps you through corners like you're tethered to invisible rails. The Zora's mid-engine balance already delivers poise, but with all-wheel drive actively adjusting power to each front wheel, understeer simply isn't in the vocabulary. What's remarkable is the duality. Where a Bugatti Chiron feels like a hammer, brutally fast, but heavy, the Zora feels nimble, alive, more in the league of a Ferrari SF90. Yet it goes further. Daily drivability has always been Corvette's trump card, and the Zora refuses to give that up. Adjustable ride height means steep driveways and speed bumps aren't a nightmare. The steering, though sharp, lightens in urban settings. Even the exhaust has a stealth mode, muting the V8's roar for late-night returns home. Practicality. It's the word you rarely hear in the hypercar world. Yet, it's a cornerstone of Corvette's DNA, and the Zora hasn't abandoned it. Start with space. Unlike most mid-engine exotics, the Zora gives you not one, but two trunks. A usable front compartment that easily swallows a weekend bag, and a rear hatch large enough for track gear or even grocery runs. Ferrari's SF90? Barely a briefcase. McLaren's Artura? Enough for a backpack. The Zora? It's built for living. Inside, storage cubbies and cup holders remind you this isn't just a fantasy machine. Wireless charging pads, multiple USB-C ports, and even optional rear seat storage trays in touring spec make it adaptable to the modern driver's life. Corvette refuses to force you to choose between thrill and convenience. And what about efficiency? Yes, efficiency, in a 1,000-horsepower car. Thanks to its hybrid system, the Zora can glide silently in EV-only mode for short city trips, sipping zero fuel. Combined economy won't impress Prius owners, but compared to a Bugatti or even a Ferrari, the Corvette plays surprisingly frugal. Still, it isn't perfect. That hybrid complexity means higher long-term maintenance costs, and battery cooling demands can make cabin heat management more noticeable in stop-and-go traffic. But these are small trade-offs when the reward is a car that delivers both weekday ease and weekend adrenaline. The Zora isn't just usable. It's livable. And in the supercar world, that's almost unheard of. And now we arrive at the number that might matter most, not horsepower, not torque, but dollars. Because while Bugatti, Ferrari, and McLaren soar into the millions, the Corvette Zora aims to rewrite the definition of value. Early estimates place the Zora's starting MSRP around the $250,000 to $300,000 mark. To call that expensive for a Corvette might feel shocking, until you remember what's under the skin. Over 1,000 horsepower. Hybrid all-wheel drive. Active aero. Carbon ceramic brakes. Technology that rivals Hypercars 3, even 4 times the price. From there, options open the door to personalization. Performance packages add track-tuned suspension, lightweight wheels, and racing harnesses. Luxury trims drape the cabin in Nappa leather, add carbon fiber accents, and elevate sound with a premium Bose system. Full load, the Zora will likely climb toward $350,000 to $400,000, still a bargain compared to an SF90 or Chiron. Customization doesn't stop at leather and carbon. Chevrolet's personalization program offers paint finishes from classic Corvette torch red to deep metallic blacks, even exclusive heritage shades. Buyers can choose forged wool designs, interior color themes, and aero kits that range from subtle elegance to full race aggression. Yes, the Zora stretches the Corvette badge into uncharted territory. But here's the truth, it doesn't just compete with exotics. It undercuts them so hard, it redefines what value in the hypercar space looks like. This is Corvette's ace card. Performance for the few, priced for the many. Every Corvette carries history in its veins, but the Zora is different. This isn't just another chapter, it's the fulfillment of a dream that began decades ago with one man, Zora Arkus-Duntov. The legendary engineer who pushed Chevrolet to build a mid-engine Corvette long before the world believed it was possible. For years, his vision lived in whispers, prototypes, and what-ifs. Now, in 2026, that vision roars into reality. The Zora isn't simply a car. It's a tribute. A rolling monument to Corvette's relentless pursuit of progress. From the split-window Stingray of the 60s, to the groundbreaking C8 that finally moved the engine behind the driver, every step was leading here, to this moment. Look closely and you'll see it. The badge. The stance. The relentless balance of muscle and technology. It's as if Corvette distilled 7 decades of triumphs, heartbreaks, and victories into one machine. The Zora is a car that doesn't just compete with Europe, it honors the Corvette bloodline while carrying it into uncharted territory. For purists, it's emotional. For new enthusiasts, it's revolutionary. This car is the bridge between what was and what will be. A future-facing machine with roots deep in American soil. And that's the beauty of the Zora. It's not just about horsepower or lap times. It's about a legacy fulfilled, a promise kept, and a legend reborn. The 2026 Corvette Zora has arrived, and with it, a new era for American performance. This is more than a Corvette. This is a statement. A machine that dares to step into the playground of Europe's finest and claim its own throne. From the first glance at its sculpted exterior, to the cockpit that feels alive beneath your hands, to the hybrid V8 that launches you into a new dimension, the Zora doesn't just perform, it captivates. It balances raw aggression with everyday usability, high-tech wizardry with emotional heritage, and above all, power with purpose. So, what's the verdict? If you're a purist, the Zora will make your heart race. If you're a newcomer, it's your first introduction to what American hypercars can achieve. And if you're a competitor in Europe, it's a warning shot. The king has arrived, and it wears a bow tie. Thanks for joining us on Gearloom. If the Zora left you breathless, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more cinematic car experiences. Drop a comment and tell us, do you think this Corvette can finally challenge Ferrari, McLaren, and Bugatti? Because one thing is certain, this isn't just a Corvette. This is the Zora. And legends aren't born, they're engineered.